I'm here with artist Aja Vaz, and Aja was here early in the season to show us how to make round, hollow beads like the ones she's wearing. Hi, Aja.
Hi, Katie.
Those are beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But today we're going to learn how to make a tube shape. And this is a little bit of a different process, right?
Right. This is considered off mandrel.
Okay. So before we get started, let's talk a little bit about safety.
Right. You want to have proper ventilation because we are using propane and oxygen. You want to have your proper clothing.
Which is natural fiber.
Natural fiber, no loose hanging that could get caught or catch on fire.
Okay.
You want to have proper eyewear, of course.
And
So
I forget what these are called.
Didymiums.
Okay. And that makes it possible to look at the flame without burning your retinas, right?
Yes, the
Okay,
sodium flame.
that's important.
Yes, very important.
Okay. So we've also protected our work surface.
Yes.
And we have a tile here just in case there was any
Hot glass
flare.
falling or anything like that.
Okay. All right. And then you have a bunch of tools here.
Right, so since this is considered off mandrel rather than made on mandrel, you're using the mini blowpipe, and you have hot fingers, you have your diamond shears, tweezers, and a few other things just in case I need them. I'm not for sure, but it's always good to have just a little bit
prepared.
extra. Exactly.
Okay. So let's get started.
Okay, let's light eyewear protection.
Oh, yes. Thank
Mustn't
you for
forget.
reminding me.
Okay. So.
Okay, before you, while you're lighting this, let's talk a little bit about the torch.
Okay.
There are different ones. This is like a medium-sized one.
Yes, well, it's on the larger size.
Okay, so it makes it more possible for you to do larger things.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, and you've got your propane and your oxygen already open.
Yes.
And that's flowing.
Yes, and that's what lights, how you get your flame. And then there's an inner and outer flame to this torch. So right now we're going to be working with the inner.
Okay.
So we heat up our blowpipe, grab our glass, and you can see an example of what this glass looks like already blown out over there on the side with some of the tube beads. It's a lovely reactive glass.
What does reactive glass mean?
You get more of an organic reaction where sometimes you'll see a little bit of curdling or streaking.
So it's not going to be as smooth.
Exactly. You'll see more colors or more shading in the bead itself. Gives it more depth, I think.
Oh, so you cover up the hole.
Yes. So this is more similar to glass blowing rather than traditional lamp working where you're building on a mandrel, because this is going to be puntied off of this blowpipe when it's finished versus staying on the mandrel.
Could you combine different colors if you wanted to?
Oh, absolutely. You could do all kinds of different colors. You could do shards, which is really thin pieces of blown glass that give a really nice texture and look to the bead. You could fume it with fine silver or gold to get different colors or reactions as well. There's frit, which is small pieces of glass that are broken into little chunks, and you could roll it on the bead and get some really great reactions as well.
Now, we talked about last time you were here, kind of the setup, and you said that you work in your garage.
Yes.
Because you have good ventilation out there.
Exactly,
because
yes.
The floor is concrete.
Concrete,
so you're safe.
and my tabletop as well is the backer board that they use for tile work.
Oh, okay.
So it's flame resistant, and I have my ventilation box set up in front of my torch. So this is about a big enough gather. So we're going to heat this up, and we'll need my diamond shears. So the important thing for this is you want to also get this metal piece that touches the glass warm to a dull orange color. So now we tilt it up, do a small puff. Then we neck down with our diamond shears. Puff again.
You have to be fast here.
Yes. And then I do a little, pull it, if I can get it warm enough again. Yeah, you've got a few seconds to grab the glass and pull.
Cool.
So then you burn off your little tail, or it melts off. And then you're going to clean up this little end right here before you puff your hole.
You are a magician. This is so neat.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So I like to keep my bead warm. And then you neck down. Warm up your hot fingers. Get them on your bead. And tap it off. Warm it. And then this would go in the kiln.
Okay.
You would take your release it into the kiln from your hot fingers and let your bead anneal in the kiln.
Okay, and once it comes out of the kiln, is there anything you need to do to it, or is it ready to roll?
No, it's ready to, I always tumble etch usually to take away the shine of my beads.
Okay, and what does tumble etching mean?
You put it in I use a rock tumbler that's been I modify it adding silicon carbide and abrasion pieces, and it abrades the surface, kind of like sandpaper, so that it's no longer shiny.
Okay, and then about how long does it go in the kiln?
A few hours. I think my kiln cycle is like 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
And you have to let it come down to the temperature that's safe to expose it to room temperature. So less than 100 degrees is usually whenever I would take my beads out.
Okay, and you said earlier in the season that you've been doing this for about 12 years, right?
Yes.
What is your favorite part?
Finding new reactions that make people say, oh, that's glass?
Yeah.
So when they see that, they're like, oh, is it ceramic? Is it wood? No, it's glass.
Mm-hmm. That is so pretty. I love the effect of that. It's like raku,
yeah.
Right? Let's take a look at your beads over here. This example with the end cap on it, that's what we made earlier in the season.
Yes.
Which I think is so clever, and I love the way that you made your own texture with the metal clay.
Yes.
That is so smart, and it's like riveted inside.
Exactly, permanently riveted, yeah.
And so that makes it easier to string. You could string this on leather.
That's a very good point, because if you're using any floppy stringing material, it can get lost inside that hollow, because it's just a empty space. So
right.
Having the tubing run through the whole bead makes it a lot easier to string.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then for the pieces here in the front on those tubes, it looks like there are multiple colors. Is that the reactive glass, or did you combine colors to get that effect?
Well, some of the glass is reactive, like we were talking about earlier, and there's other colors mixed into the rod itself. And then some have been silver fumed. So you can add silver leaf or gold leaf. And so a lot of them are different colors or had different colors layered on top of them to get different reactions.
Okay. You know, we have plenty of time, so let's make one more.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. What kind do you want?
Any kind you like.
All right. Let's see. We can do you want to do a round blown?
Sure.
Rather than the pooled? Okay. Let's get our glasses back on.
Okay.
Let's light it up. I know you like turquoise. Do you want me to do a turquoise one? Okay.
Yes, I'm addicted to turquoise.
Let's switch out the rods.
So let's talk a little bit about glass while you're working on your bead.
Okay.
I know there are different types and that everyone has their favorite.
Right. So I stick mainly with Murano glass. I really like their color palette. I like how a lot of the glasses are reactive and you can get curdling effects, or it's easy to imitate other glasses. Some people like the more stable glasses, such as, like this one's pretty stable, and it's a nice solid color. And
there's also boro. I really love beads that are made with boro.
Yes.
It has a completely different look.
It does. Yes. You would need a bigger torch. Well, you could use this torch, but you would need the outer flame because boro requires a lot more heat. Okay, so we're going to heat this up again. So this glass is a little bit stiffer than the previous, where it was very creamy. Okay, neck down.
And that's to create the hole eventually?
Yes, because you
Okay.
want to be able to get a nice break away from your blowpipe where the glass is.
Got it.
So you blow it out to the size you want, you neck down again. Nice and round. Now we're going to blow our hole on the other side.
Did you start out making hollows, or did you make bumpy beads like everybody else?
Bumpy beads like everybody else. And I learned about the puffy mandrel, I think I was probably a couple years into lamp working. And it's like something clicked and I found my thing that I love to do.
Your beauty home.
Anytime I think of a new reaction or I think in hollow, how can I make it in a hollow form? So now we break it away. And there you have your second hole now. And then you just flame polish. And then this goes into the kiln.
Beautiful.
Ta-da!
I love it. Well, let's take a look at our finished samples here one more time.
Okay.
You can see the big puffy rounds. This is a giant one. That must have been hard to make.
No, it just requires a little bit more time.
A little bit more air.
Yes.